Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to askNK. Today we're going to explore the Lyra starter game that is made specifically for Unreal Engine 5. The starter game is built alongside Unreal Engine during the development, and it will continue to be a living project that will continue to get upgraded in the future. This demonstrates the latest practices of game creation in Unreal Engine, and while the feature set being released is the core base, the game is still intended to be an excellent starting point for game developers to create their new project, as well as a hands-on learning resource. The Lyra starter game will replace the shooter game that was introduced in Unreal Engine 4, but it is much more than a one-to-one replacement. It demonstrates scalability from both mobile to high-end PC, and of course there's just a whole lot of underlying stuff that you would find once you start exploring the game. The Lyra starter game also reveals the two new Unreal Engine mannequins, as these would replace the previous mannequins that we got to see. But one nice thing with this one is the mannequins share the same skeleton hierarchy as that of the metahumans with a compatible animation system. So for anyone who would like to get this, you can simply go over to the link in the description, or you can go over to the marketplace within your Epic Games launcher and download this totally for free. And with that said, let's explore the starter game project and see a couple of things that you need to keep in mind once you start playing this. So once you open up the project, this is basically what you see. You're probably not going to see some fancy stuff. You're just going to see a couple of instructions, which you are, you're not tied to adhering to them. All you need to do to get things going is just to press the play button. So I would start off by saying that the graphics that you'll be getting with this is extremely heavy. So if you would like to dial things down, I would suggest you do that from the setting so that you don't crash your PC while playing the game. So you can go over to the engine section and you can drop this from cinematic all the way to epic, down to high or medium, depending on what you're doing. So we've been playing the game for a while now under the high, and it turns out that if we shoot this in cinematic, we have issues recording and playing the game, and the same thing happens with epic. So we're just going to toggle between high and medium just to get this across. So with that said, if you press the play button, you would notice that the Lyra simply starts off. Now, to every level that you're playing, you might need to be checking your settings. So in this case, I just have to press the escape key and go all the way back and confirm this. And you see, it automatically switches this back. So I'm just going to set this to high, just so that we can get those frame rates happening really well. So all the way back, you would notice that we have a couple of things here. These are your menus. So you have this very tiny player character here. So you can go to the control, elimination, or you can go to the front end, the default experience, control, and also explorer. Now, if you choose any of these games, you can start playing automatically. So if we go over to the front end, let's get that loading. It loads up a place like this. So I'm also going to confirm that we have something looking nice. Let's drop this down to medium for this particular demo. And I'm just going to go in and press play. Now, there is no chance I'm going to win this game, but it is more like what you get once you're playing, games like Fortnite. So if I press the playback button and choose any of these ones, so let's go ahead and start off with the quick play. So you'll be able to play with a character that is being assigned to you. In this case, our character is definitely going to be the red mannequin. And they could either assign a male or a female one to you, and of course you can start playing. Now let's also go ahead and cross-check this, because I think for some reason it just automatically goes back, and you probably might notice that we're having frame rate drops if we have that there. So a quick introduction of how the gameplay actually works. So you use your middle mouse button to shoot at your targets. You can use the shift to actually jump towards the character and punch them. You press down the control button to crouch, and then the spacebar to jump. And what else? If you tap Q on the keyboard, you can throw some bombs, and that is what it is. Now, there is no chance, I would probably win this, but let's see what we have. All right, so once your character gets knocked out, it respawns, and you also have a chance to play alongside your team member to win. Now, another thing that you need to also keep in mind if you're playing this game is if you right click, you can get a bit closer, or you can zoom in and lock onto your target. There's also some very nice things that you can do with this. So let's actually go ahead and pick a weapon. Let's crouch down a little bit. And I think for most of the times that I've played the game, I ended up just losing, and there is no way I did win. Let's see what we can get with that. Okay, so I think I knocked out one person, and then I also got knocked out as well. So you just continually play the game, and if you take a look up close somewhere here, that is where you get to see the score, and you can also dive down in to start seeing some more things. Now for the options section, there's a couple of things that you can also take a look at. For the gamepad control, if you do have like a joystick that you want to connect, you can connect the joystick here. If you have an Xbox controller, you can also play that. The keyboard and the mouse is basically the one I'm using right now. You can make some changes to that. The audio setting is there, the video setting is there, the gameplay setting is there. So all these things are right here for you to start exploring if you like to create games like this. And if we quit this and just simply say yes to that and quit it, you would also notice, let's just quit all of this and say yes. All right, so if I quit this and I hold down Control and press the spacebar, you can see that we have access to everything from the characters down to the effect that is being used, down to the blueprints, all the way to the environment. You have access to all of this, and you can simply jump into any of them and start exploring what and what they are made of. So you like to see the wind system, you can double click on that and open up the wind system and start seeing what and what makes this up. And you can understudy this and start using all of these things to your advantage. And that is just pretty dope. Something else which I think I need to mention to you guys is there is way more than just one game with this. So if I go in and let's see if we can find that game. I think it should be somewhere within either the Explorer or something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go over to Control. So within the Control session, you see that we have another kind of game that exists. They are basically the same kind of game, but you just have to respawn over and over. And if you're trying to create games like this, you will definitely find this one very rewarding to work with. And for those who might be asking what kind of graphic pad I'm using the RTX 5000, and you could see it holds up pretty well regardless of the fact that a couple of things are still running on the background. And for those who are thinking about exploring how to build online games, or probably you want to see how this would look like when you go ahead and play with the blueprint that is responsible for the online game, you can see that there's a section of this game where you can search for active online sessions. Something else which is very impressive is the quick play and also the start a game. So if you click and go over to start a game, you can choose to play within the control section or the elimination. These are different maps that you can work with. So if we go over to the control section, it's quite different from what we saw with the last two games. This gives you a different map altogether where you can explore some more stuff, and you can also see that we have some beautiful portals that you can jump through. So in this case, if you like to jump through one portal to another, you can also go ahead and take a look at these ones. And you can also notice that there's a couple of other effects that you can get from here. A good example is a jump pad, which you can use to jump from one part to another. There is also some very impressive ones that includes, getting the life. And there's also this beautiful jump pad that you can use to jump all the way up, and you can duck down here. And if you do have a good rifle, this is definitely a good vantage point where you can take out your enemies. So these are very nice stuff that you can take a look at if you've been thinking about building some games like this, or maybe you just want to explore what and what makes this particular game look good. You can go ahead and start checking these things out. Now, regardless of all of these, high fidelity games that we've just been looking at and beautiful graphics that just exist here, there is one more game that I would like you guys to see that comes with a Lyra. So if we take a look at that by simply stopping this and going back to the editor, let's play this one more time and load up to this particular place where we get to select, what we would like to do. And in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and select the front end. And from the front end, we'll go over to play Lyra. And from Lyra, we'll click on start a game and then do the Exploder. So the Exploder is more like a checker game that you might have seen. And that reminds me of a very old 8-bit game called the Bomberman. I have no idea if that's still the name, but how this one works is pretty interesting. So all you need to do is to move your character from one place to another, and you can place bombs. So how the bombs work is you just have to click and run away from there for that bomb to explode. So I can do the same thing and just simply run and hide. And if you, sort of delay hiding from these things, you just end up being a kebab. And that is not what you want for your player. So in this case, if you're thinking about building games like this, This might also come in very handy. And this flame, they can stretch, and once they do stretch, they might definitely hurt your player depending on, you know, the proximity you are. So in this case, I'm just going to try to run away from these ones just to see, and I think we're almost done with the game. Now, if you would like to pick up any of these things, you can do that as well. And it's pretty interesting and pretty easy to see the kind of things that you can now build with Unreal Engine. So if you're into game creation and you're thinking about, you know, what can these samples get me? What and what can I do with them? There's just a whole lot of things that you can get from here that exist with the starter pack. Another beautiful thing which I also like to mention is the mannequins. The mannequins look extremely nice, and it looks quite different from what we had with the previous generation of mannequins. This looks like a whole revamping, and I do like the whole Iron Man suit thing that is going on with this one. So for those who like to explore this, probably you want to play it, it's worth knowing that you need a very beefy hardware for you to get this thing to run properly. And in most cases, like in my case as well, you might need to dial down the quality just so that you can be able to play it, especially when you have a couple of things rendering in the background or some other things that is using the GPU at the same time. So for those who like to explore this, links to this is going to be in the description. And of course, if you like to get Unreal Engine as well, links to that is going to be in the description, so do well to check it out. It is also worth mentioning that we've covered Unreal Engine 5, so if you would like to also check out some of the cool features that is now available in Unreal Engine, there's definitely going to be a card or an endnote that can link you to that video. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.